Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am back today, sorry about that, with a book haul. I picked some books up from Goodwill and also from thriftbooks.com, and I think I have one from Dollar Tree. The first one is this one called Summer Hours by Amy Mason Doan, and I got this at the Dollar Tree, and it's about 33-year-old Beck Reardon, who has tried hard to forget the all-consuming relationship that upended her life one summer in college. But when a mutual friend's wedding means road tripping up to California coast with a man from the past, she can't resist one last chance at a reunion. From gorgeous beaches to quaint hotels, each stop along the way is a reminder of their memories together, the infinite nights at bonfires, the secret midday movie sessions, and soon enough, Beck is happily speeding beside the ocean waves with the funny, adventurous person she used to love and wondering what the future holds beyond the weekends, or beyond the weekend. But when the pair unexpectedly arrive at the location of their long ago flame out, old heartbreaks flood back, and Beck will have to decide if those dazzling hours they once shared are worth fighting for before the trip ends and they're lost forever. So I picked that one up, and then I wanted at Thrift Books, I got a couple because I was getting a couple that I needed to finish a series. I had book 3 of the series and almost started it, but realized that that's not the first book in the series. This is actually the first book in the series. BEARTOWN by Fredrik Backman. It's about hockey. It says a tiny community deep in the forest. BEARTOWN hasn't been the best at anything in a long time, but down by the lake stands an old ice rink, and in that ice rink, Kevin, Amat, Benji, and the rest of the town's junior ice hockey team are about to compete in the national semifinals, and they actually have a shot at winning. All the hopes and dreams of this place now rest on the shoulders of a handful of teenage boys. Under that heavy burden, the semifinal match becomes the catalyst for a violent act that will leave a young girl traumatized and a town in turmoil. The story is about a town and a game, but even more about loyalty, commitment, and the responsibilities of friendships. The people we disappoint even though we love them, and the decisions we make every day that come to define us. In this story of a small forest town, Fredrik Backman has found the entire world. So BEARTOWN is the first one in that series, and then the second book in that series is Us Against You. The residents of BEARTOWN are tough, hardworking people who don't expect life to be easy or fair. They've always been able to take pride in their local ice hockey team, especially when they are victorious over their longtime rivals in the neighboring town of Head. But just when it seems that BEARTOWN ice hockey might be disbanded due to the defection of their best players to Head, the team gets a surprising new coach and a chance at a comeback. Bringing the team together, however, proves to be a challenge as old bonds are broken, new ones are formed, and the bitterness between the adversaries threatens to turn into violence. It says, with immense compassion and insight, Fredrik Backman reveals how loyalty, friendship, and kindness can carry a town through its most challenging days. And then I don't have it here with me, but the third book in this series is called The Winners. So, looking forward to reading that. And then I just picked up just a couple more books that I saw. This one I got free from thriftbooks.com. It is Susan Mallery, The BOARDWALK Bookshop. I love reading books about bookshops. I would love to have my own bookshop. When fate brings three strangers to a charming place for lease on the California coast, the Boardwalk Bookshop is born. Part bookstore, part gift shop, part bakery. It's a dream come true for Bree, Mickey, and Ashley. But while their business is thriving, their personal lives are not. Bree, wounded by brilliant but cold parents and her late husband's ultimate betrayal, has sworn to protect her heart at all costs. Even from Ashley's brother, a writer and adventurer who has inspired millions. He's the first man to see past Bree's barricades to her true self, which terrifies her. Mickey has this divorce thing all figured out. Somehow, she's stayed friends with her ex and her in-laws until a new man changes how everyone looks at her and how she sees herself. Meanwhile, Ashley discovers that the love of her life never intends to marry. Can she live without being a wife if it means she can have everything else she's ever wanted? At sunset every Friday on the beach in front of the Boardwalk Bookshop, the three friends share a champagne toast. As their bond grows closer, they challenge one another to become the best versions of themselves in this heart-achingly beautiful story of friendship, sisterhood, and the transformative power of love. And then I also picked up this one, titled The Wrong Family. This one, hold on here. This one is from Goodwill. So this one is from, no, it's not. Obviously they sold it at Goodwill at one time, but it's from Thrift Books. Juno was wrong about Winnie Crouch. Before moving in with the Crouch family, Juno thought Winnie and her husband Nigel had the perfect marriage, the perfect son, the perfect life. Only now that she's living in their beautiful house, she sees the cracks in the crumbling facade are too deep to ignore. Still, she isn't one to judge. After her grim diagnosis, the retired therapist simply wants a place to live out the rest of her days in peace. But that peace is shattered the day Juno overhears a chilling conversation between Winnie and Nigel. She shouldn't get involved. She really shouldn't. But this could be her chance to make a few things right, because if you thought Juno doesn't have a secret of her own, then you were wrong about her too. So that looks good, The Wrong Family. And then this one I also picked up from Thrift Books. It's called Barefoot Season. It's a Blackberry Island novel. I think it's the first one. I don't know if it has them listed in here. Yeah, I think it's the first one. But it says, Michelle Sanderson may appear to be a strong, independent woman, but on the inside, she's still the wounded girl who fled home years ago. A young Army vet. Michelle returns to the quaint Blackberry Island Inn to claim her inheritance and recover from the perils of war. Instead, she finds the owner's suite occupied by the last person she wants to see, Carly Williams. She and Michelle were once inseparable until a shocking betrayal destroyed their friendship. And now Carly is implicated in the financial disaster lurking behind the inn's cheerful veneer. Single mother Carly has weathered enough rumors, lies, and secrets for a lifetime and is finally starting to move forward with her life. But if the Blackberry Island Inn goes under, Carly and her daughter will go with it. To save their livelihoods, Carly and Michelle will undertake a turbulent truce. It'll take more than a successful season to move beyond their devastating past, but with a little luck and a beautiful summer, they may just rediscover the friendship of a lifetime. And then these last 5 books I got came from the Goodwill most recently, and our Goodwill, this is the first time I've been in it for a while, but they've kind of changed everything inside, and it's kind of set up like Savers, which is a thrift store. This first one I got is called Open Doors by Rick Warren. It is a year of daily devotions. So super, and they're super good. Me and Greg started reading it every night before we go to bed. So that's our plan with that. And then I found this book, Window on the Bay by Debbie Macomber, and I love her books. Jenny Bolts is at a crossroads. She spent the last 20 years raising 2 children by herself. But now as they start to embark on their own lives, Jenna can't help but wonder what her future holds. Will she find the kind of love she's always yearned for? Enter Dr. Rowan Lancaster, who saves the day when Jenna's elderly mother suffers an accident. Though he keeps to himself, he's immediately smitten with Jenna. Jenna, on the other hand, is determined to remain friends until her children approach her with shocking news that makes her question everything. If Jenna can learn to put herself first again, she might just discover a love that takes her beyond her wildest dreams. And then I was super surprised, but I heard this one is really good, Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. A single mother turns up dead at the bottom of the river that runs through town. Earlier in the summer, a vulnerable teenage girl met the same fate. They are not the first women lost in these dark waters, but their deaths disturb the river and its history, dredging up secrets long submerged. Left behind is a lonely 15-year-old girl, parentless and friendless. She now finds herself in the care of her mother's sister, a fearful stranger who's been dragged back to the place she deliberately ran from, a place to which she vowed she'd never return. With the same propulsive writing and acute understanding of human instincts that captivated millions of readers around the world, and her explosive debut thriller, The Girl on the Train, Paula Hawkins delivers an urgent, twisting, deeply satisfying read that hinges on the deceptiveness of emotion and memory, as well as the devastating ways that the past can reach a long arm into the present. And then I picked up this one, Anxious People, another book by Fredrik Backman. I really like his writing. Looking at real estate isn't usually a life or death situation, but an apartment open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts in and takes groups of strangers hostage. The captives include a recently retired couple who relentlessly hunt down fixer-uppers to avoid the painful truth that they can't fix up their own marriage. There's a wealthy banker who has been too busy making money to care about anyone else, and a young couple who are about to have their first child but can't seem to agree on anything, from where they want to live to how they met in the first place. Add to the mix an 87-year-old woman who has lived long enough not to be afraid of someone waving a gun in her face, a flustered but still ready to make a deal real estate agent, and a mystery man who has locked himself in the apartment's only bathroom. And you've got the worst group of hostages in the world. Each of them carries a lifetime of grievances, hurts, secrets, and passions that are ready to boil over them. None of them is entirely who they appear to be, and all of them, the bank robber included, desperately crave some sort of rescue. As the authorities and the media surround the premises, these reluctant allies will reveal surprising truths about themselves and set in motion a chain of events so unexpected that even they can hardly explain what happens next. And then the last one I picked up was this one is by Charles Martin. It is The Mountain Between Us. Looks like it used to be a library book. Mountains Between Us by Charles Martin. On a stormy winter night, two strangers wait for a flight at the Salt Lake City airport. Ashley Knox is an attractive, successful writer who is flying east for her much-anticipated wedding. Dr. Ben Payne has just wrapped up a medical conference and is also eager to get back east for a slate of surgeries he has scheduled for the following day. When the last outgoing flight is canceled due to a broken dicer and a forthcoming storm, Ben finds a charter plane that can take him around the storm and drop him in Denver to catch a connection. And when the pilot says the single-engine prop plane can fit one more, if barely, Ben offers a seat to Ashley, knowing that she needs to get back just as urgently. And then the unthinkable happens. The pilot has a heart attack mid-flight, and the plane crashes into the high Uintas wilderness, one of the largest stretches of harsh and remote land in the United States. Ben has broken ribs, Ashley suffers a terrible leg fracture, Along with the pilot's dog, they are faced with an incredibly harrowing battle to survive. Fortunately, Ben is a medical professional and an avid climber, and luckily has his gear from a climb he made earlier in the week. With little hope for rescue, he must nurse Ashley back to health and figure out how they are going to get off the mountain, where the temperature hovers in the teens. Meanwhile, Ashley soon realizes that the very private Ben has some serious emotional wounds to heal. He explains to Ashley that he is separated from his beloved wife, but in a long-standing tradition, he faithfully records messages for her on his voice recorder, reflecting on their love affair. As Ashley eavesdrops on Ben's tender words to his estranged wife, she begins to fear that when it comes to her own love story, she's just settling. And what's more, she begins to realize that the man she is really attracted to, the man she may love, is Ben. As the days on the mountains become weeks, their survival becomes increasingly perilous. How will they make it out of the wilderness? And if they do, how will this experience change them forever? So that is my little book haul. I have another video I'm going to do as well. It is a grab bag box, kind of like a de-stash box that I am putting together for someone. So stay tuned for that video. Let me know in the comments what you're currently reading. I just finished Beautiful Graves by L.J. Shen, and it is probably, I've never said I've had a super favorite book. If somebody asked me for my favorite book, a list of them or whatever that I would recommend, I couldn't even tell you one, because I love books so much. If I finish a book, then it's because I liked it. But this book, Beautiful Graves, if you have not read it, or you've not read anything by L.J. Shen, you should, because I have to now say this is the best book that I have ever read, and I give it a 5+++++ stars. So it's called Beautiful Graves. It is free right now with Kindle Unlimited, and it also comes with the free audiobook as well. So look that up on Amazon, and if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free right now and read that. It is an amazing book. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon with another Crafty Planner beauty or book video.